Hello friends, this is Odds, and if you watch my recent tier list, you'll know that I think Sadako is actually one of the weakest killers in the game. Some people, however, make very good arguments as to why she might actually be stronger than I give her credit for. And one of them is One Pump Willie, an American streamer that just recently hit 100 wins in a row with Sadako using a very unintuitive, unique strategy. With certain add-ons or perks, he simply just forces condemn on survivors to a very oppressive degree, and eventually just kills them, almost completely ignoring hooking. I tried this myself to make my mind up about this playstyle, and surprisingly, it was really difficult on survivors. Even survivors that I had played against multiple times failed to adapt. It seems like they needed a really good teamwork overall to combat this. So to showcase this playstyle and to see its limits, we actually invited Willie to play against Hens333 and his squad of insane survivors. Now, these folks have gone on recently as well on 200 win streaks as survivors. With certain rules in place, they managed to escape 200 plus games with only 3 or 4 people escaping, and never less than that. Also incredibly impressive. So we made them play against each other in a controlled environment, and we commentated the whole thing, and that's what you're gonna see today. One of the most insanely fun, exciting, and entertaining matches. And afterwards, we'll talk about some conclusions and if he changed my mind or not. Let's get into it. Oh, who's inviting me? All right, so we're loading into the match. Before we go, just a couple things, details for people joining in. The survivors are actually running some self-imposed rules. They are only running up to yellow items and no repeats. So 1 toolbox, 1 medkit, 1 flashlight, 1 firecracker. They also have no duplicated perks. So 1 person might have BT, but no 2 persons will ever have BT repeated. This is pretty common and pretty accepted in the comp rules, and it makes Survivor a bit more fair and a bit less unpredictable. Meanwhile, our killer is allowed to run anything they want, and they are running something very close to what they run in their public matches. Survivors are queuing in. There you go. It's different perks on everyone. So let's talk about the add-ons that Willie has brought. The first one is the iridescent videotape. This add-on makes it so that when you manifest and hit someone shortly after, you only do that once, and then the TVs that you've already done turn back on. Normally, a TV that you teleport to has a 100-second cooldown. So if you can get hit, you can shorten a cooldown from 100 seconds to basically immediately, which is really, really good. He then has the ring drawing green add-on, which makes it so that if someone heals somebody else and that person is condemned, they themselves are gain the condemn. So it makes condemn a bit like infectious, a bit like plague, similarly. And about his add-ons, very interesting. Discordance to find multiple people, teleport and procure condemn. Looks like a hit is gonna happen. That did reset TVs? I'm not sure. I didn't hear the sound. Seems like it came too late. He's gonna kick gens. This works really well in pubs, but against this kind of team, ooh, it might be tricky. I don't know how it's gonna work. So we have Discordance to find multiple people and build that condemn on them. We also have Fearmonger to make them exhausted and blind when they touch gens. And then up is Colorblind, and bottom is Eruption, which can make these gens harder to complete if he kicks them well and they don't coordinate well when they're about to go down. Oh, nice hit! Now that should have reset all of the TVs because he manifested and hit someone right away. You have about an 8-second window. He's already doing really, really good in terms of hitting people early, but I think these people are going to play very, very safe, and they're going to make it very difficult for a down to ever happen. Let's have a look at what they're doing. Seems like one of them is healing. Going to save that medkit for as long as it's possible. We have an unbreakable for the people, which is going to be potentially very huge. And looking at the spread of tapes, Nia is actually in some significant trouble. She already has 4 points. Remember, you die at 7, and when you pick up a tape, you gain 1. But it seems like she chose a really good time to do it, because now she loses 4 and is good for the time being. Condemn-wise, these survivors are doing well, and they also have a boon. A teleport is happening from Willie. Willie did not have any rules as to what he could bring, but we did send him to a map that is more or less fair for killer. Although I will say, comp style teams in this map do really well because it's very easy to call out things, and it's very easy to run the view and group up for heals, body blocks, and whatnot. So I would actually be very afraid of this map if I had to play against survivors of this caliber. That is a really nice sneak attack, and he's getting information from Colorblind that a gen is being done away. So he might take advantage of that. Survivors seem to be splitting up. And that probably did work, probably. That TP seemed in a good spot. Let's have a look at the Survivors. He's gonna kick the gen again and play this the long way. Alright, so Torment is spreading on some of them, and one of them is holding a tape. But they're doing a gen while holding a tape. Oh, that's very risky. Alright, so let's have a look at the killer again. Another hit's gonna happen, which is really crazy. Notice that even though he's hit Survivors multiple times, they all keep healing back. This is typically the time, from what I'm watching his streaks in public matches, this is typically the time where some of them start to make mistakes, or if they brought a couple medkits, they start to run out of medkits. And he gets really close to inflicting that torment. And needless to say, if one of them makes a big enough mistake, it's over. But these Survivors are made of something else, and their comms must be really clear. I would think that it would be even difficult to sometimes get hit on them to reset the tapes with his iridescent add-on. Notice that all of them had different items. One of them has self-care and botany knowledge and resilience to heal almost as fast as you could heal before. They also have a boon. Okay, Torment is gonna happen. 3 points on Nia. The team actually has a very interesting strategy of actually picking up TBs and moving them around to turn 2 of them off and keep this difficult for the killer. They're actually doing really well. Don't forget that the TBs that they pick up themselves do not reset with this add-on. So I would have thought that, you know, ignoring TBs might be the preferred strategy for some teams, but they're actually doing extremely well. That's gonna be halfway there for or Nancy, who gets an easy stun here. I will say though, even though it seems like the killer has made very little progress, the Survivors have also made very little progress in terms of gens, at least that we can see on the HUD right now. Maybe the actual gen progress is close to less than 4. Seems like they have a couple of gens halfway there, yeah. This idea of kicking gens, I tell you, you learn very quickly that is very difficult. And honestly, I would think it's even too difficult for public matches. He can make it work in public matches, but I'm scared. He might need to adapt. You can trust these people to play Shag and other common tiles super clean and super well. I believe that he's looking for the people with tapes. I believe he might want... A person with a tape is gaining condemn passively. We're gonna see now. So for example, look at Feng Bing. Her bar is about to grow, and so is Nancy's. Nah, actually, Nancy just got rid of hers. Scratch that. Feng is hiding right here with Spine Chill. How interesting. Spine Chill actually a perk that some good Survivors can use now, because they look at the intensity of the terror radius. And Feng Min, very close. Oh my god! Oh my god, she's tormented! She's right there, she's 99. It's not gonna happen mid-chase. Okay, one hit, nope. Oh my god! Oh my god! That was actually nuts. That was nuts. It wasn't gonna happen mid-chase because there's like a buffer to it that prevents it mid-chase. But no save the best for last, so that strategy works. With save the best for last, that would have not worked at all. So that was a big risk she took right there. If this killer had save the best for last, I think she was dead. But maybe they knew. Right, meanwhile, the team is playing extremely slowly, gen-wise. And the killer understands that even though he has a down, that down means nothing. Oh my god! Someone else has climbed up all the way to 7. Let's... all eyes on Nia now. Now, Nia might pretend that this is her TB. What do you think she's gonna do? She's gonna teleport right there. Yeah, yep. Alright. Oh, dude, I'm genuinely nervous. That might be a hit. No. Oh, very close. Unfortunately, being fully condemned, if you're on the ground, you're dead. You're literally dead. But it doesn't make you exposed like Noed or Marked from Ghostface, so Sadako would still need to hit this Nia twice. And I'm guessing that now the teamwork has to be in full force. Look! The killer's trying to suss them out of this corner. Okay. What is the team doing though? Alright. Killer's doing their best around Shag. Very difficult. These people play Shag very clean. That being said, slight ping advantage from the killer though. Team is not too preoccupied with taking hits. As long as this person's healthy, I think they're just gonna let them be. Now that this person's gonna be in— oh, they had... oh, okay. Oh, no way, dude! No No way, he put the tape right as he was being hit. Oh, that was nuts. Okay. That's rough. That's extremely well played. That being said, consider the fact that they are just 2 points away, and 2 other folks are also quite close. One of them in particular, Laurie. Self-care? It's crazy. Healing in the boon. Okay. The other people, as long as the killer is not pressuring them, they can do their tapes and hold that just fine. They are doing an amazing job at doing the gens very slow, but making sure that everything else is going well. Ooh, she was the manifested. She couldn't hit, could she? Let's see this from the killer's point of view, maybe. Oh, that's nuts, dude. Okay, condemn. Did the condemn happen? No, she actually did a 180 really quickly and didn't seem to get hit by that because we don't see any more points. Now, the spectating bug, the spectating could be bugged, so we don't know that for sure. It now has come to the point. They use for the people! And even though Laurie has a lot of condemn, the killer can't quite know that. So one good user for the people is a transfusion of health from Laurie to Nia. Oh, that could have been a hit. No, the manifested she couldn't hit. And that kills momentum. Now, if the killer knew that that girl was fully... Ooh, this is actually kind of dangerous, though. Heartbeat's gonna be hurt. And this kill is now fully infected with for the people. Ooh, this could be a turning point. If this person goes down and then they play it well, this could be a turning point for our killer. But, can they teleport? They cannot teleport here because they've taken this TV off. Oh, I think Sadako did it herself when she teleported and she hasn't been able to turn it back on by hitting someone else. So you saw that when they needed to, these survivors grouped up together to ensure that this lady could do this. In the meantime, our friend Nancy is being chased, but it seems like the chase was short-lived. And another full condemn happened. Now I'm gonna tell you, I have very rarely seen One Pump Willie condemn someone in a public game and that person get away with it. Very rarely, unless it's multiple people and then he chooses one. So the fact that you've had 3 condemns and somehow he cannot manage to down them is very remarkable. And remember, the Laurie is injured, but there's nothing preventing her from healing and then showing up and using further people again. We also had... Ooh, Noid here would have given him 1 kill on the spot. He's still fighting really hard for 1 kill here. And if he's fast enough, you never know. That can turn into more. Now, body blocking is going to happen, but Sadako has the innate property of going through people when she's the manifested. So she's going to go right through Fang, right? Yeah, right through Fang. The manifest, I think. Oh! Alright, that is 1 kill and you guys need to get out. This is extremely risky. I think that's already 2 kills. That's really bad. I don't know what they were thinking there. Do you think somehow this lady expected... She has Unbreakable. Okay. But that is a big gamble. What if he picked you up right there? That is very risky, my guys. Very, very risky. I think she made a play maybe thinking she was healthy and had for the people. Oh, but the killer fell for the hook, line, and sinker. Yep, killer just realized very quickly when the HUD changed that this girl was just buying her time and she had Unbreakable. So now she's picked herself up and it's going somewhere. Uh-oh. I think that's 2 kills. There's nothing you can do about this. Body block happened? No, you can go right through it. That's good. Get your 2-man out. I think they'll kick themselves in the gut for that one. They played well enough, easily to get 3 people out, in my opinion. And that should have been the end of that. But they must have made the wrong call near the end. That Unbreakable will not allow her to pick herself up twice. So unfortunately, Laurie's gonna get picked up, I'm afraid. And that's gonna be the end of it. And very good to Willie for securing 2 kills near the end after an extremely hard-fought match where it was really, really difficult to get them. At the same time, you have to... Well done, Willie. At the same time, you have to wonder what happened to the survivors for them to play so solid and then near the end make such a uncharacteristic blunder. But that was really, really good from both sides, in my opinion. How many games will we play? We'll play a few, and obviously then do some highlights of the best moments. That one, however, was a highlight in and of itself. I don't think there was a dull moment that much. So that was nuts. All right. What a great match from both sides. Admittedly, the survivors played super solid all throughout up until the end, where they made 1 mistake. They later told me that probably costed them an extra kill. But Willie really came back from a very difficult start. It was really impressive to watch. Now, the next matches, unfortunately, were a lot harder for Willy. The survivors definitely nailed the counterplay to Ondrio in a very impressive way. You can actually watch all of the matches in the showcase in the description. There will be a link there if you want to watch it. But if not, I'm going to give you a very quick summary and my overall thoughts after this experiment. Now, in the next match that was placed in Midwich, arguably, Willy had an even higher advantage because this map is quite good for her and quite good for TB condemns, but survivors really played super solid. One of them did not calculate the fact that Save the Best for Last was now in use and died to the TB inserting animation being interrupted, but then the other three played really well and managed a 3-man out. The next match was actually in a very survivor-sided map, Gas 7, and Willy had a really hard time catching anyone. They played extremely solid, and as a flex, they actually did not bring any perks and did not use their items. So these were survivors using nothing at all, and they still managed to 4-man out despite Willy's best efforts. Really shows how difficult it is to actually seal the deal if survivors are playing really smart. The next match was a bit more experimental. Willy tried a different strategy to try to get one person condemned killed very early on, and it almost worked. It almost worked, but unfortunately someone got their tape off, and from that point on it was a difficult back and forth that ultimately resulted in all of them escaping. We then did another final match in Ironworks. This time survivors had their items and everything, but they agreed to drop the comms. They got off the call and they would not talk to each other. Obviously, they still had really good synergy and really good teamwork just because they're used to playing with each other. You could tell that the lack of communication sometimes made them run into each other and make some more mistakes, but still they played really well and secured yet another 4-man escape. Now, seeing this, you might think, well, it seems clear that Sadako is just terrible if she cannot even get a single kill, but you have to remember that these survivors are really smart, really good, and other killers that I consider to be higher tier than Sadako would struggle even more. So when you consider all of that, in my opinion, Sadako is still D tier. I still agree with everything I say. Her quirky gameplay that has allowed Willy to get so many win streaks is a bit of a novelty that if it ever became mainstream or if she was ever buffed to play like that, oh, please do not scare us. Oh god. It would not really hold up. Survivors would eventually adapt to it and it would punish solo players more than Survivor fans, of course. So my opinion on her hasn't changed a lot. But I do definitely recognize this as one of the more viable ways you can play her. So if you haven't tried it yourself, feel free to do it and tell me what you think in the comments. Thanks so much for watching.